The market's been selling off in recent days, but is it just a trap before the next big move up? Plus, the SEC just announced Project Crypto, and we're going to dive into why it's such a big deal and what two projects could benefit the most from it. This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, altcoinbuzz.io, and as always, is not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. All right, good morning, guys. Happy Friday. Bitcoin is hovering just around $115,000 right before New York Open. We had a bit of a sell-off yesterday. This was kind of a trap. And one thing I like to say is, V reversals don't build support, which is why I really don't like V reversals. And we kind of had that yesterday. So we had this FOMC, sell-off. We kind of just sold off after FOMC actually the other day on Wednesday. And then immediately after hours, we started to retrace back into the Asian trading hours. And so then by New York Open yesterday, we actually, we're back up here again. So we went down to 115, back up to 100 and almost 19. And then we pretty much reversed it yesterday all the way back down here. So this V reversal that we had was not very strong and it just immediately sold off again. And now we're back down here below these lows, which is not ideal. So today, I'd like to see us reclaim this level, get back above here, above 116 and start to go higher. But we'll have to see what happens. It is a Friday. We did just have a pretty big sell-off yesterday. And usually when we do have big sell-offs like this, a lot of times it takes a little bit to, kind of recover, and it might just chop around a little bit over the weekend. So I'm not expecting too much in terms of, recovery today. I definitely wouldn't like to see a V reversal back up here again, because that most likely means we'll just come back down again. So I'd like to see us, hover around here, maybe reclaim this level around 116, and then hopefully start to build back up again. Starting off, we have the SEC Chair Paul Atkins just urged to pass the Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill.
Upon signing the Genius Act into law, I was pleased that President Trump endorsed congressional efforts to pass crypto market structure legislation by the end of the year. I commend the House of Representatives for garnering such strong bipartisan support, and I look forward to working with the Senate as they build off the House's work and craft market structure regulation that future-proofs our markets against regulatory mischief, cementing the United States as the crypto capital of the world.
And then we have Eleanor Tourette, who says, under Project Crypto, the SEC will draft new rules for crypto asset distributions, i.e. ICOs, airdrops, etc., clarify when tokens are securities versus commodities, and develop tailored disclosures and safe harbors. Atkins confirmed support for tokenization of stocks, bonds, and other assets, and promised relief for firms seeking to issue tokenized securities in the U.S. The speech also hit back at the prior SEC actions, including Operation Choke Point 2.0 and SAB 121, which he named as barriers that drove crypto offshore. It's nice that the SEC is finally acknowledging this. Atkins also emphasized the right to self-custody while also pledging to revise rules for registered custodians and to handle crypto assets. He also proposed a super app regulatory framework to allow a single platform to offer crypto plus securities trading, staking, lending, and more, all done under the roof without needing dozens of overlapping licenses from multiple regulators. We also just saw yesterday that Coinbase announced they will be offering tokenized stocks soon as well. So it seems like Coinbase is kind of doing that, or is going that direction. We also have DeFi and on-chain software getting special attention as well. Atkins wants to distinguish code publishers from intermediaries and create regulatory space for both decentralized and centralized models. Also, an innovation exemption is also in the works, which is meant to let startups launch quickly with flexible compliance conditions as long as they prioritize investor protection. Atkins made it clear that the SEC will no longer regulate crypto through enforcement alone. He called the moment a generational opportunity to bring crypto back on shore. So this is very bullish overall for crypto, and we're going to get to two altcoins in a moment that could benefit from most from that. But first off, we have JP Morgan, its CEO, says the banks support blockchain and stablecoins, not Bitcoin personally, but will accommodate customer demand. So he said this.
Well, first of all, there's never been a new financial product that didn't entail risk. So that obviously is going to be risk, and they haven't written all the laws yet. Like, think of the rules around it, like, AML and BSA and KYC and disclosures, and when they say stable coin, which we're going to have. I'm not against stable coins, like a mutual fund, but mutual funds have rules. What are the rules going to be around stable coins? And I think there are really, so I'm a believer in stablecoin, a believer in blockchain, not personally a believer in Bitcoin itself, but you're the customer. I don't like to tell customers what they can and can't do with their money. That is a whole different issue for us. And so we're going to accommodate those things. You mentioned that we did a deal with Coinbase, so you can now move money from Chase to Coinbase. We're going to make it easier for people. They've agreed how to use our APIs, which we think is a good thing. So we'll be in it. And We'll see.
Crazy part is that Coinbase has also now just partnered with Chase as well. So soon they're going to be able to, have crypto payments, and they're also going to have their APIs. So it's going to be a lot easier to just, transfer money from Chase to Coinbase, which in the past actually has historically been kind of an issue. Chase has a lot of time has blocked different crypto customers from, bridging money to Coinbase. But now they're going to be allowing it, which makes it a lot easier for people to on-ramp and off-ramp to crypto. Then we also have CryptoRank saying retail dumps while whales load up on Bitcoin. Larger investors have been actively increasing their Bitcoin exposure as more funds, corporations, and institutional players enter the crypto space. Meanwhile, since Bitcoin's price surged in November, retail investors have continued to sell. Now, moving on to one of the altcoins that could benefit the most from this project crypto is Hbar. So we have Mark saying, breaking, this is massive for Hbar. The report on strengthening U.S. leadership in digital finance outlines the full DeFi tech stack, and Adair is cited as a key reference. Here's what it means. The report, which is the White House digital asset report that came out a couple days ago, he says the report maps the DeFi technology stack from base layer to application. Hedera is cited in the context of understanding decentralized infrastructure. Official recognition signals growing institutional awareness of Hedera, and Hedera's governance, low fees, and finality align with regulatory goals. The inclusion in U.S. policy docs could also boost credibility, adoption, and investment. This report is telling us specifically which networks are shaping the future, and Adair is front and center. We also have Paul Barron saying White House crypto report shows the Hbar as an American crypto asset in the report. The major bullish catalysts driving Hbar momentum are the Robinhood US listing, with 25 million plus retail investors now have access to. The 12% surge on listing day became a top performer in top 20 cryptos. Grayscale added Hbar to a smart contract platform fund for 5.8%. And Kraken listing following institutional demand, and an Hbar ETF speculation with 90% approval odds. While the White House crypto report focused on the broader regulatory framework, Hbar is positioning itself as the enterprise blockchain choice with Google, IBM, and Boeing on its governing council. So Hbar has had a lot of momentum. It actually had one of its best months last month, but I will say now if we go to Hedera's monthly returns, typically August is not a great month for Hedera. We've had negative 20%, we've had negative 16%, we've had barely break even. And in 2021, we did have 18.2%. So I will say in market cycle theory, 2021 is the 2025 in terms of the cycle. But we just had a 67% gain. So back here, we had a 9.8% gain and then 18%. And last month, we had a 67%. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we were a little bit red or just break even on August right now. And historically, Q4 is a lot better for crypto in general. So I'm not expecting too much for monthly returns. So if we go to Hedera right now, we had this pump. We were saying if we reclaim this level, we will pump back up. And then we did it again and we kind of rejected back down here. So the fact that we've come up here twice and rejected, not super bullish, but again, the whole market isn't looking the best right now. What I'd like to see is us consolidate around here, around this, 23-ish cent level for a little bit. If we can consolidate here and build a level of support, because we haven't done that. We've just pumped, we've then pumped again. So we haven't built a solid level of support. If we can do this for a couple days to a couple weeks, I think this will be a nice level of support and resistance we can build and then pump back up from. But it's also been up 67% in the last month alone. So I wouldn't be surprised if we came down here and we retrace some of these gains back down towards 19 cents. We had a bit of a sell-off, and then we, come back up towards the end of August, maybe in September again, and we go for, Q4 gains again on Hedera. I will say it's not the most bearish looking chart overall. It still looks good, but I do think we need time to cool off, and I think it's going to, either come down here or it's going to consolidate for a little bit right here. So nothing to do on Hedera yet. We want to see if it holds this level around 23-ish cents. If it doesn't hold this and it comes back underneath here like this, and it does an underside retest, it's most likely coming back down here towards this next level of support around 19.5 cents. So that is something to watch for on Hedera if you are trading it. CoinEx is one of the best exchanges you haven't heard of. Like Gate.io or Mexi, they offer a lot of coins. But more importantly, they offer the high quality coins you want. And starting today for a limited time, you can earn your piece of a $10,000 prize pool while learning to trade futures. The futures market plays an important role in trading. Unlike spot markets, your trade has an expiration date sometime in the future. That is, unless you're trading perpetual futures, which we do in crypto. And understanding futures makes it easier for you to make money in trading. And right now, the $10,000 prize pool, called the Futures Aid Fund, is for anyone who logs into their CoinEx account and answers 3 questions about futures trading. That's it. And then after that, once you start trading, you can earn your share of the 100,000 SET prize pool. SET is the CoinEx native token and is doing well thanks to its aggressive burn program. Just trade futures for at least $1,000, and if you're in the top 200 in P&L by August 15th, then you get your piece of the SET prize pool. So take advantage of the 2 CoinEx prize pools today. Start by setting up your account on CoinEx and earn your part of the prize pools while learning to trade futures. Click the link down below for more details. And then for the second altcoin that will benefit the most from Project Crypto is Solana. So we also have Bitwise has filed an updated S1 for its spot Solana ETF joining Franklin Templeton, Grayscale, Vanek, and 21 shares. 5 issuers have submitted updates, with 4 more to go. We also have Solana Flora saying Jita Labs, Bitwise Invest, Multicoin Vanek, and the Solana Institution have submitted a public letter to the SEC urging approval of liquid staking tokens in exchange-traded products, specifically within the pending Solana ETF application from 8 major issuers. And recently we had a deadline push for Solana, but Solana could actually be eligible for approval by September 17th, not the October date that we had previously talked about, under the CBOE's proposed listing requirements. So the Chicago Board Options Exchange has filed to standardize crypto asset ETPs with the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, expected to make similar moves in the near future. If accepted, the new requirements are expected to streamline the filing process and could earmark Solana ETFs for approval by September 17th. So in a filing on July 30th, CBOE proposed a critical change to the way crypto asset ETF filings are processed by the SEC. According to CBOE's official filing, this new rule seeks to allow an issuer shares to be listed on the underlying commodity if it's been made available to trade on a U.S. exchange via futures contract for at least 6 months, which Solana has. And Bloomberg ETF analyst James Safer asserted that the ruling would mean the SEC effectively outsourced the decision-making for which the digital assets will be allowed in an ETF wrapper. By standardizing the pathway for prospective crypto ETF issuers, the SEC will be shifting the onus instead to the CFTC, which approves the listing of futures contracts. And under the new ruling, the underlying asset held in the prospective crypto ETFs would need to have been available in futures contracts for 6 months before getting the green light for approvals. This would place the earliest possible Solana ETF listing on September 17th, 6 months after Solana futures contracts went live on March 17th. Currently, the SEC's soft deadline for Solana ETF approvals is set for October 10th. Should the CBOE's listing be accepted by the SEC, it becomes likely that the 9 prospective Solana ETFs could be approved sometime between September 17th and October 10th. So, kind of in that whole Q4 bullish, timeline that we're expecting here. Now, Solana, like the rest of the market, has sold off, but I will say it sold off back into a major level of support here around $165-ish. This was a level that I was looking for. Now, what I want to see today and, for the rest of the weekend is I want to see it build a base, and I don't want to see it break down below here because that would not be very bullish. So what I'm looking for today is kind of a reaction at New York Open. I want to see us either come down and fully tap this and then get a bounce, or I want to see us just over the next couple of days slowly start to build a base here, because we haven't gotten a reaction yet. We've had a small wick here, but we haven't had that kind of knee-jerk reaction back to the upside yet. So the fact that we're kind of accepting here isn't the most bullish for me just yet. I want to see us actually, pump back up after we reach a certain level. But the fact that we're just kind of hovering right here isn't the most bullish to me right now. So what I like to see is just kind of us build a level of support around here over the weekend possibly, and then look to get interested in back and above. We are still bullish on Solana in the long term, especially with the spot ETFs. But I will say, that is a month or two away, and Solana could still go down before we ultimately go back up. So nothing to do on Solana yet. We want to see what happens at New York Open. We want to see if it holds this level of support. And if it doesn't, then it's not looking the best, because we're probably coming back down here towards this level of support around $143-ish. And then moving on, we have Avalanche, and Visa just announced that Avalanche is now officially a supported blockchain for the stablecoin settlement service, Avalanche, where capital connects. We also have Avax net inflow of $31.1 million in the last 24 hours. What is cooking at Avax? And then Crypto RS says Avax surge. Avax DeFi TVL has jumped nearly 40% after its Octane upgrade went live. The boost comes from far faster confirmations, cheaper fees, and better UX, already drawing in capital and attention. That's probably what that huge inflow was. And watch this ecosystem, it's heating up. So DeFi TVL is surging a lot this quarter. And we also have Avalanche saying from 45 days to a few seconds, that's 99.99995% faster. Wyoming just tested real-time contractor payments using a state-issued stablecoin using Hashfire on Avalanche. Avalanche, like the rest of the market, is kind of drooping down here. What we could see today, if Bitcoin wants to catch a bid, is this is just a sell-off, and then we reclaim back here and everything is good and we go back to the top of the range. But what we don't want to see today is we don't want to see it start to come underneath here and then reject from this level around $20.70, because if it rejects, we're most likely coming down to this next level of support, somewhere back down towards $16, which we do not want to do. So I would like to see us reclaim this level instead of reject from this level. But this level of support around $22.60-ish is a major level to watch out for today if you are holding AVAX. Just like the other coins, it kind of did a pump, a reclaim, and then it pumped back into this level and then rejected. So a lot of coins are rejecting from this next level of support and resistance. And so we want to see it reclaim that to get really bullish. I was saying once we get back above here on a daily close, it's going to go very quickly back to $35 because there's not much resistance here. This is like all open air. So once we get above here, it'll go to 35 very quickly, but we just have to get above there first. So really, we want to reclaim this level today. But if not, we're probably going back down here towards the high teens pretty much. So Avalanche is building big things, but the price for the whole market is kind of just selling off and a little bit red today. And then lastly for today, we have Trump opens the course ahead of the Nexo Championship for 2025. So during the ceremony, Trump welcomed a notable group that included Nexo co-founders Anthony and Costa. Another guest includes Scotland's First Minister and leaders from business, politics, and international sport. After a round of golf, President Trump sat down with the Nexo team and discussed the future of finance and the role of crypto can play in reshaping the global economy. This high-profile event builds on Nexo's recent momentum. In April 2025, Donald Trump Jr. visited Bulgaria for an event hosted by Nexo, where the company announced its return to the US market. The Nexo Championship marks the latest step in the company's international expansion and brand-building efforts. Nexo is now an official partner of 6 major tournaments on the DP World Tour, and Scotland is often called the birthplace of golf, with the sport contributing to over $400 million annually to its tourism economy. The launch of the new Trump course and the hosting of a globally recognized event like the Nexo Championship are expected to bring more visitors. Real-world collaborations like this one between Nexo and global golf events reflect a growing trend. Blockchain firms are finding value in aligning with traditional industries to reach broader audiences and build trust. So that is the video for today, guys. We're hovering just above 115 today as we go into New York Open. What I do not want to see, like with the other altcoins, is I don't want to see us come back up here, retest the underside of this, and then reject from here and then go back down. Because if we go back down, there's not a whole lot levels of support. We'd probably be coming down here towards 111, 112-ish area, because that's the next major level of support. So I don't want to see that. I want to see us come up and reclaim this level today, and then hold around here and then build a level of support, which we can then go back up over the, over the next week or so. So that's what I'm looking for in the market today as we go into New York Open. Not a lot to do, as we are just kind of hovering at the range lows. And after a big sell-off yesterday, and usually after big sell-offs, we tend to, consolidate for a day or two. So not much to do there, but that is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on Monday.